Alright guys, we are back with another tier ranking video, and I know it looks the same, but trust me, totally different subject here. So, last video, I realized, the video went so well, I didn't want to have to redo it, but I do apologize with the ratio. Me seeing it myself, it's like nails on a freaking chalkboard, and I'm like, the ratio with, the video output. Anyway, I apologize for that. Fixed it, I think, this time, so it's gonna look a little bit more fresh. Anyway, I hope your weekend's going great. For some reason, I've designated myself here to brighten your weekend with, content such as this. And I know it's not Christmas yet, but some customer when I used to work at Kroger's gave me this, so always kept it. Anyway, we're gonna rank NHL logos today, and I made a video about logos. It took me a really long time, but I did the history of them. So if you want to, go watch that, I'll put that in the description if you want to learn kind of what transpired for these logos to look the certain way that they do and why. Because some of them, it is kind of puzzling how, without the knowledge, where the designers got their ideas. The categories are pretty simple, I would say, up front. So we're gonna start with, I absolutely love the logo. Like, I've got hard eyes for this logo. Still really well done. I respect it, but it's not, it could still be a little better. It's not terrible, but I just I'm indifferent. I don't really have any preference to lean towards I like it or dislike it. Further on down, could be better, but not tragic. So the logo may not be very original. It may be plain, bland, stuff like that. And absolutely terrible. Now, I hope that we don't get to any logos that I think are that bad. I hope it doesn't come to that. Hopefully it won't, but you never know. I have not went through this myself. So, all right, we're gonna start. And the first one is Anaheim. Now, the Mighty Ducks logo was way better than this one, I'll tell you that. The originality to it, honestly, I didn't even know, what it was, forever. And I feel pretty silly saying that, but I had no clue all this stuff was inside until I actually researched it. It's definitely not one of my favorite logos, and so therefore, I'm just gonna say it could be better. If it was a Mighty Ducks logo, it would be way higher, but I just don't like it. The colors, yeah, no. Arizona Coyotes logo, so it's not the Kachina one, but it's still alright. So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna put it here. Next up, Boston. A very simplistic logo. It's been around forever. Not a lot going on, but it's still one of those, it's very iconic. There's not a lot, I wouldn't say a lot of originality here, but like I said, it is very iconic. So I'm gonna put it there. I almost feel bad for doing that because they're original 16, but I'm still doing it. Buffalo. So this logo, I actually really like the colors, and the way, if you look at the actual buffalo, its eyes are red, so you have that going on, you have the sabers, and you have the outline. I'm actually gonna say that it's really well done. I really like it. All right, next up is Calgary, and their logo, also similar to Boston, is pretty simplistic. I really do like the flames though at the end there, and therefore, and this isn't me being biased because I said they're my favorite Canadian team, but just the logo itself, I've got to put it right there. Carolina Hurricanes, this one, there's not a lot going on. There's just not. And when you see it on the jersey, I think it looks better, but when you just look at the logo by itself, it's just I do like their third logo better, a little bit better, the warning flags. I like that better than this one, but I'm gonna say that actually could be better because I really do feel that there's just not a lot to it, not enough. If it's simplistic like Boston and Calgary and it just is and it's just fine that way, then yeah, I can respect it, but to me it's just not cutting it. So obviously, if you're a logo enthusiast, you're going to know that this one is way up there on most people's rankings as far as just the logo itself, the colors, the detail. It's been their logo for decades now, and for a good reason. So I'm going to put that up there. Chicago has done a really good job, in my opinion, with their logo. The Avalanche, I can say that I really do like this logo as well. Now, it's not my favorite, but if you look closely, I do like a lot of the subtle things that maybe some people don't catch. But if you look at, you have the A right there, and then there's almost like a C coming down right here with the, avalanche and then the puck at the bottom. So you can tell that there is a C there, obviously for Colorado. And so therefore, and the colors as well. So I'm going to put that right there. I think it's really well done. The Blue Jackets, just like Colorado, it's got the similar sort of C going on, but I mean, this is just basically taken from a flag from the past, and there's a star. There's not a lot of, I guess, originality to it. The flag design was already made up. I mean, it makes sense, obviously, the Blue Jackets union, it totally makes sense, but for the sake of originality, I'm just gonna put it there. Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, this is the one that, obviously, it makes sense, right? It makes sense, the Lone Star, Dallas, what have you, but, guys, I'm going to put it here because there's not a lot going on. Put an initial on top of a star, add a little color, there you go. Anyways, back to another iconic logo, one that similarly to Boston has been around forever, Original 6, and I used to think that this was made up because of the Motor City, and on the contrary, the owner actually played for a team that, this is in the video I made, the logo video, and he played for a team in Montreal that had a very similar logo to this. So for years I was like, oh yeah, Motor City totally makes sense, but that was not the case. Anyways, yeah, I feel like I'm going to be doing this logo disrespect. It's just, they haven't changed their logo in forever, right? I can't discount the logo because of that, but it's just not one of my favorites, guys. It's just not. All right, now we've got another one here that I guess isn't my particular favorite. It is, I mean, it's kind of like, what do you do? Oilers, like, what could you do other than, I guess, something like this, or an oil tower? But yeah, it's been the same logo forever as well. So I'm just gonna put it right there because I feel like it could be better. It's possible. Yeah, this one, the cat, guys, the 90s cat. Like, you just can't top that. Like, it was so good. And then they brought this, which the owner was former military, so I guess it makes sense, like the crest. When you go from that to this, right? This right here. Come on. No, I gotta be true to what I'm feeling here, guys, the vibe. And this one, I gotta put it right there. If I'm looking back at what the logo was before, I'm just like, yeah, no, I can't do it. This is one that it makes sense, like the shape, because back then, the medieval times, this shape was very common, and therefore, you're kind of going into the royalty aspects of things. LA, so you have the LA in big letters there and just a crown inside the shape. I could say it's all right. It's not one that stands out to me as original. I really liked the old school logo a lot better, like the Chevrolet logo, much better than this one. So I'm just, yeah, I guess I'll put it there. All right, so this silhouette here, Minnesota Wild's logo, it's always been my favorite. And I'll tell you why, because there's so much detail to unpack in here. So you have the star, which I will point out with the mouse. And it is actually, I believe it's supposed to be the North Star. I wouldn't understand why it wouldn't be. But the North Star here, which has to do with the state's motto. And then you've got a little stream here, which is the animal's mouth, the trees, which obviously there's a lot of evergreens up there, and moon, and it all is compacted inside of this logo, and it just stands out perfectly, the silhouette, and obviously these are their colors. So for that, and obviously the head, I mean, it's the shape of an animal, probably like a bear or something. Anyways, for that reasoning, I've got to put it up here, and it's actually, like I said, my favorite NHL logo. Yeah, so getting down, another Original 6, Montreal, it's very simplistic as far as that goes. I'm going to put it right here because I'm kind of indifferent. I guess that's been the case with most Original 6 logos except for Chicago so far. Nashville. Now, I really like the story behind it. Obviously, I'm not going to, go on and bore you with it, but I do like kind of the detail here, coloring, and it's very obviously kind of a threatening logo, one that you would look at and, unlike maybe Pittsburgh or, I don't know, the Coyotes, the logo almost looks friendly, but this logo actually looks very domineering and very intimidating. So I feel like they did a really good job with this logo, despite the fact that I'm not really a Predators fan by any means. New Jersey, this is another one. If you look closely, you can clearly see that part of the team, I guess, abbreviation, like the name abbreviation, is within the logo itself. So you have the N, and then you have, I guess you could say, it could be either a Y or a J. Now you have the N here, and then there's a Y right there. And it's not really, there's not a lot of detail to it either, but it is kind of crafty how this is all together. So you have this kind of, not exactly like the Colorado logo, but a lot similar. So coloring though is there's not a lot of coloring at all. It's just very simplistic here. So I'm just gonna put it with kind of New York Islanders. So there's a lot to unpack with this logo itself. If you look closely, so right in here is where the previous, when this logo was made, it's exactly where the arena was at, where that little blue speck is, and it's pretty hard to see. But I do like that. It's a very good attention to detail there. And the Y is a hockey stick. That's pretty cool. It's all Long Island is within this logo here. I'm gonna say I appreciate all this within this logo, and I feel like it was very well done, despite the fact that it's been largely the same for a while. The New York Rangers, it's one of those logos that, it's another iconic logo, right? Not really got a lot going on to it. It's pretty simple, and therefore I guess I'll have to put it in the A category for that reason. So we're going down to Ottawa, and their logo is actually one of the newer ones here. It's been updated. It used to be kind of like that creepy senator like face just kind of staring through your soul, but now it's a little less invasive, I guess you would say. I actually like it. I like it better than the last one. I'm going to put it, I guess, here, because it's one of those that, like, when you see it on a jersey, it's actually like way better. It's kind of like Buffalo. You kind of are able to see a lot more of the details and like the coloring and stuff. Philadelphia Flyers. This is one, and it's more, with me, it's more like the details, what's inside of it. Like what can I tell, like, about the team history or anything like that? Like, what can I tell inside? Is there something hidden, you know? And those are the logos that I kind of go to as far as my favorites. Philadelphia this one is pretty simple. Obviously it's the P and then the end, kind of like, almost like feathers, it almost looks like, for Flyers. And I'm gonna put that in the A category. Now, Pittsburgh, you may not know this if you know a lot of the geography of Pittsburgh, but behind the penguin here, the triangle has to do with the geography of Pittsburgh, because if you look at it geographically, it does really resemble a triangle, and then you just have the river and then all these bridges and stuff in the city. So I do like that aspect of it. I don't know. It's like, I'm kind of torn. I don't know. A lot of us, you think of threatening, and it's like, cartoon penguin. What? I guess I will still put them up here. If it was the Robo Penguin logo, it would definitely be at the top. But yeah, it's not. So San Jose Sharks. I will say this has always been one of the more interesting logos. It's been a little bit different, and similarly to the Predators logo, it does kind of come off as intimidating. You have the shark, biting the hockey stick, and it does kind of have, he does have a little triangle behind him as well. Not quite the same shape as the Penguins, but similar. This is one that I do really like on jerseys to see, much better than just digitally. I guess I'll put it there. I'm kind of torn. I'm like, should I put it there? I'll put it there, because honestly, like, it's a pretty good logo. So, talking about dark, this logo is one that I really like. It's so different. Now, there's not a ton to it, but I do like the aspect. You've got like that eye right there, similar to the Buffalo logo. You can't really see it, but that red eye right there, and the shape right on the end of the S kind of gives it a little, almost like you can sort of see a creature with inside that S. So if you look closely, you can kind of unpack that. And also the texture in the middle of it almost resembles maybe like a tentacle. If you look very closely, it almost reminds me of like an octopus or something like that. A lot of detail. If you look very closely, you just kind of have to look for it, but I like the colors, I like the design, like the jersey. I believe they said the jersey actually sold more than any other jersey recorded, I think, in the first few days or whatever. So obviously people are digging the logo on the jersey as well. I'm gonna put it as love. Yes, for sure. St. Louis Blues. Obviously, like, what do you think? You think of the logo for the St. Louis Blues? Obviously, a music note, right? I mean, the jazz scene, Louis Armstrong. Like, what else are you going to do? I mean, they have the trumpet. That's one of their third, I think it's like the 90s, goes along with the 90s retro jerseys. But yeah, this logo is pretty simple. Obviously, you have the lines there, and I believe, I'm not I'm not very musically inclined, but I believe it has something to do with reading music and things like that, the lines, something to do with it. Anyway, I believe it's pretty simple itself, and so I'm going to put it right there. Tampa Bay Lightning logo is one that it's been largely the same, right? Since I think it's mid 2000s, I believe. They haven't changed it. It's one color, a lightning bolt in a circle. Obviously they're lightning appropriate, but I would just like to see some more detail here. Something else, something a little oomph, right? I'm gonna put it right there. Toronto Maple Leafs. Honestly, I really like this logo a lot. And it's one that I didn't like the one previously at all. I guess it looked like more of a flat leaf, and there wasn't a lot of detail on the edges. It was just bleh. But this one, you could see a lot more detail on the edges of the leaf here. And I also like the font. There's not as much room in the logo as far as the font is concerned. The font takes up a little bit more space. So it kind of just rounds it out, in my opinion, just kind of perfectly. So I'm gonna put it in this category. Vancouver. You can clearly see the sea here, the orca kind of coming out of the ice and giving it sort of that, not silhouette, but you can tell that there's more to this than just the orca, obviously. It's creative, but it's not my favorite. I'm gonna put it in that category. All right, so Vegas Golden Knights. This logo, when it first came out, I was more on board with it, but now as time has went on, it's kind of for me. It's not one of my favorites at all. Honestly, if I were to be honest, I like their third logo better that they did. The red jerseys, I don't know, it pops out more to me, to be honest, than this one. It's not very original, I guess. I don't know. You just have a helmet and a V there, which, I mean, that makes sense, but there's not even a lot of color to it. You have a little bit of shading, but I feel like it could be better. Capitals logo, now I will say I like this one a lot more than the eagle that they had back when Ovechkin first entered the league. That one was just, some people might like it, but I did not like it at all. No. Now, this logo I like a lot better. It's not one of my favorites, but I would say that I like seeing it on the jersey. It's one of those that when you see it on the jersey, you appreciate it a lot more. I'm gonna put it up there. Winnipeg Jets. And finally, the Winnipeg Jets. Now, here you can see the Canadian maple leaf here behind the jet. And I think it makes a lot of sense if you look at the direction where the jet is pointing, because true north is the whole motto as far as Winnipeg is concerned. So it makes sense that it is pointing straight up. And if you were to look at a compass without it being, swayed either way, it would be naturally north. So pretty neat logo all around. I don't like it as much though as their retro ones, the ones that they had before they moved. I honestly liked that logo a lot better, but I'll say that it's not one that I really hate, but it's all right. I hope you really enjoyed this. I tried to give a little bit of information as well throughout to kind of maybe educate you, if you didn't know maybe some things about logos, because to me it's really fascinating just to learn the different aspects and what made this logo look a certain way, the reasoning behind it. But hopefully I'll be doing more videos like this. Just give me feedback, comments, if you liked it, you didn't like it, if I rambled, if you thought it was concise and put together well. So hope you're having a good weekend, and can't wait to watch some hockey.